Good morning, Kitchissippi. It is Sunday, June the 1st. This is a video version of the 439th weekly Kitchissippi Ward newsletter. There is lots more information about all the topics that we'll discuss in the weekly email newsletter, to which you can subscribe at kitchissippiward.ca. I'm here at Westboro Beach this morning, where the newly renovated pavilion is going to be opened in a couple of hours. I can't wait to see you all here. It looks absolutely amazing. Let's jump right in. I'm going to be hosting pop-up office hours on Monday, June the 9th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. in the new park, Crane Park, that is just on Byron in behind the Superstore parking lot. Come on by and chat with me anytime during those hours without appointment about whatever is on your mind. A quick note in the newsletter as well this weekend, the Byron path work that was done to upgrade that is going to see a little bit more construction between Eden and Hilson as they do the landscaping this work. They do anticipate being able to keep the pathway open, but beginning at toward the end of the month, anticipated during the week of June 24th, they're going to be extending, thanks to some federal funding, that enhanced pathway from to all the way to Island Park. During that construction, the pathway will again be closed down again, and pedestrians will be asked to use the sidewalk on the south side of Byron. Committee of Adjustment is a little bit busy. On June the 4th, Panel 1 is going to be looking at a few different applications. At 15 Clarendon, the owners are seeking permission for a front-facing garage as part of an existing detached dwelling. It's an extension. City staff have expressed their usual concerns with respect to a front-facing garage. We'll see how that turns out at the hearing. And at 482 Kensington, the owners are also seeking permission for a front-facing garage as part of a new detached dwelling. City staff have expressed the same concern. At 424 Churchill, the owner is seeking permission for a reduced number of residential parking spots and a reduced driveway width for the construction of an 8-story mixed-use apartment building. City staff have expressed no concerns with that application. And at 37 Kenora, the owners are seeking to subdivide the property into 2 separate parcels of land to create separate ownership for each half of the existing semi-detached dwelling. City staff have expressed no concerns with that application. The committee is going to meet again on June the 18th. You can find the details of that at the link in the newsletter. Just the one application at 505 Dawson. The owner is seeking to subdivide the property into 2 separate parcels of land to create separate ownership for each half of the existing semi. I expect that that one will fly through. And then finally, I have decisions, 2 decisions from the May 21st hearing. At 196 Clare, the consent to sever the property into 2 properties was approved. Variances, a couple of the variances for the corner side yard setback and to allow each of the units to have front-facing garages was also approved, but the committee did refuse the application for a variance to allow greater height. And at 214 Cowley, the committee approved variances requested to convert the existing carport into an existing garage and construct a 2nd-story addition above it. A reminder that I have a ward forum coming up on June the 4th. This year forum, my guest speaker will be Madame Renee Amilcar from OC Transpo, so I know lots of folks will have questions for her. I'm looking forward to hearing about how things are going at OC Transpo. The doors are going to open at 6:30. We'll have all the usual updates from community associations and community groups as well, and of course I'll be available to do a Q&A with attendees. The Kitchissippi Community Yard Sale is coming up fast now. That's going to be next weekend on June the 7th. The number of households who have been asking to be added to the map is increasing. Please write to me at jeff.leeper@ottawa.ca in order to be added to that map. Some of those emails, for whatever reason, are going into our spam folder, but we are going in on a relatively frequent basis and trying to find those. And if you don't have a front yard, St. Stephen's Church, that's at the church that is at the corner of Sherwood and Parkdale, is making its lawn available. They'll have some tables, they'll have some chairs. I don't know if anyone has taken them up on that, but if you don't have a front yard, there's a link in the newsletter to how you can contact St. Stephen's Church and ask to avail yourself of that very generous offer. There are new zoning bylaw consultations coming up. There is an in-person consultation tomorrow. That is June the 2nd. That's going to be at Ben Franklin Place from 6:30 until 8 p.m. I know I plan to drop by that one. There is also a virtual citywide open house on June the 3rd. That is going to happen from 6 until 8. There's a link in the newsletter about how you can register for that Zoom meeting. And then finally, in city news, there's going to be an older adult wellness clinic at the Carlingwood Library. That's going to be held on June 18th from 1:30 until 4:30 p.m. Get individual health assessments and information on your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen, and blood sugar, as well as talk about chronic concerns such as respiratory health, heart disease, and diabetes, or just get help navigating the health system. You can book an appointment through the community paramedic office, and there is a link in the newsletter if you want to register online for that. In community news, as always, we have a very busy June here in Kitchissippi Ward. On June 14th, the Hintonburg Community Association is hosting its Arts Park. There's lots more information. This is the 20th year, I think. There is lots more information about all of the music and art and vendors that will be in Parkdale Park on June 14th in the newsletter. And the Hintonburg 5K, Ottawa's funkiest 5K, is coming up on July the 13th. There is information in the newsletter about how to register for the 5K as well as that Kids 1K. And then the McKellar Park Community Association, we have 1.5 streets still of McKellar Park after the ward boundary changes in 2022, is going to be held on June the 8th from 7 until 8:30 at McKellar Park Fieldhouse. The Parkdale United Church is hosting its seasonal online auction. I have a link to that in the newsletter. And it's Let's Bike Month with Enviro Center. I have lots of links in the newsletter about how to take part in Let's Bike Month. I've joined the City Hall team to start logging my rides. I think some of the, certainly the Westboro Village BIA has a team as well. So lots of ways to participate in Let's Bike Month. And then moving down, there is a tour of Kitchissippi by bike on June the 21st that is being offered by Enviro Center. Take a look at all the different kinds of bike infrastructure that are throughout the ward. It's about a 6.5K ride. There is information in the newsletter about how you can register for that. If you are interested, I would suggest signing up soon. The space is really limited. And then at City Hall, things continue to be busy. The Finance and Corporate Services Committee is going to meet on June the 3rd. We have a very meaty agenda. We'll get an update on the Atisoke Library project, consider the 2025 asset management plans, debate the long-range financial plan for water services, and receive an update on the 2025 Q1 tax, transit, and rate-supported programs. There will also be the annual capital closeouts. A lot of those are really important documents to take a look at. I think residents will want to take a look in particular at the long-range financial plan for the water, wastewater services. There is a lot of spending that is planned, $4.8 billion over the course of the next 10 years. Most of that is going to come from rate revenue. The long-range financial plan for rate revenue sees annual increases in the order of 5%, but there is still a gap that will be raised through debt. They're proposing to take some of the rate revenue and instead of applying it to debt servicing, applying it to advancing the capital works. We're starting to, I'm looking at the language that is in the long-range financial plan. We'll still be within our own self-imposed debt caps and certainly well within the debt servicing caps that are imposed on us by the province. But there is language in there about taking a look at the longer-term fiscal framework, longer-term long-range financial plan for the city and talking about whether or not those debt caps need to be adjusted. The tax and transit long-range financial plans are still to come. It bears keeping a careful eye on whether we're proposing to change our self-imposed debt caps or not. The asset management plans are always a headline item. All of the city's assets, billions and billions of dollars worth, are outlined in those asset management plans and their condition is inventoried. It's not a direction to go ahead and spend any money on those. It is just an inventory, but I know that always gets lots of press. The Planning and Housing Committee, on the other hand, is going to be extremely brief. We meet on June the 4th. There are relatively uncontentious rezonings that are proposed for 245 La Marche and 3285 and 3305 Boris O'Kane Road. Don't blink if you want to take in that meeting. It will be brief. The Agricultural and Rural Affairs Committee, on the other hand, that is going to be on June the 5th, I anticipate is going to be a pretty testy affair. There is a referral from City Council of a motion to consider what they call a municipal support resolution for a battery energy storage system that has been proposed for West Carleton March Ward. Battery energy storage systems take money from, or sorry, take energy from various different sources when it's not needed, and then puts it back into the grid when it is. They are contentious. Residents who are nearby are worried about things like fire, groundwater contamination. I anticipate we're going to hear a lot of delegations about that. If the municipal support resolution is ultimately passed by City Council, then it will go into a rezoning phase over the course of the summer. There's also a really intriguing item on the agenda, a verbal update on the Transportation Master Plan as viewed through a rural lens. And then finally in the newsletter this week, I have an update from the Carlingwood Library. Tons of programming over the course of the next few weeks. Find out everything that's happening at that branch through the links in the newsletter. Kitchissippi, I hope you are having a good summer. This weather is absolutely atrocious. I know it's going to get warmer this week, but I do hope you enjoy the week, and thank you for watching.